Welcome back. Today, we explore the value of these most valuable Monticello 5 cents, Jefferson nickel coins in different condition that could be worth a lot of money. So let's get started. First up, the 1942 Monticello 5 cents. Jefferson nickel is one of the most iconic coins of the 20th century, both for its design and its notable place in American coin history. When we talk about this coin being valuable, we're not just talking about any standard 1942 nickel. This specific coin has some unique characteristics that make it extremely sought after by collectors. The 1942 Jefferson nickel was minted at a time of immense change in the United States. The nation was deep into World War II, which affected the production of all types of goods, including coins. During this period, the U.S. Mint made changes to several coin designs due to shortages of metal caused by the war effort. One of the most significant changes was the switch from nickel to silver in the composition of certain coins. The 1942 nickel was one of the last to be made with the traditional copper-nickel alloy before these changes took effect later in the war. Over 119 million Jefferson nickels were produced in 1942, but what sets this particular coin apart is its large date variant. The large date variant is a distinctive feature found in the 1942 coin series, created due to a change in the die used for striking the coins. The larger digits were intended for the 1942 issue to be more legible, but due to the transition in the minting process, this feature became a significant identifying mark for collectors. It's worth noting that the 1942 large date with a large P mint mark is especially rare and extremely desirable in today's coin market. The large date and mint mark are prominently displayed on the obverse side, with the P mint mark indicating that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. The large P mint mark is a rare feature, and it adds to the value of the coin. What makes the 1942 Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel even more interesting is the unique color and condition it is found in. Black color and dirty condition often indicate environmental exposure, which can sometimes lead to the coin gaining a patina or altered look. While this typically reduces the value of a coin in pristine condition, for collectors of rarities, these altered conditions can actually increase the value of the coin. Due to its rarity, the 1942 large date with a large P mint mark in black color and dirty condition can fetch significant amounts at auction. In the current market, a well-preserved example of this coin could command anywhere from $50,000 or more. The price fluctuates based on the extent of wear, tarnish, and the overall eye appeal of the coin. For a specimen in near mint or exceptional condition, collectors could expect the coin's value to climb into the thousands of dollars. The black color and dirty condition are considered a type of toning, which some collectors view as an intriguing characteristic. In fact, coins with these attributes can often go for higher prices at auctions than their more pristine counterparts, especially if they have a unique or rare history tied to them. For a coin like this 1942 Monticello nickel, the value can sometimes exceed $75,000 at high-end auctions, particularly if it's certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Error coins, like this one with the large date and mint mark, are always in high demand among collectors. The 1942 large date variety itself is already a sought-after piece due to its historical significance and the slight die modification that caused the larger digits. As with most error coins, collectors are fascinated by the story of how they came into being. With the Philadelphia Mint having produced millions of these coins, the number of surviving pieces with the large P mint mark and black color is limited, which makes them rare and valuable. Collectors of U.S. error coins are particularly drawn to this example because of the combination of the large date, large P mint mark, and the unique blackened appearance of the coin. When combined with the historical significance of the World War II era, the 1942 Monticello nickel becomes a highly coveted item for numismatists who are looking to add something truly special to their collections. In summary, the 1942 large date with a large P mint mark in black color and dirty condition is an exceptional find. Its historical context, rarity, and the error features make it one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels in circulation today. Whether you're an experienced collector or a newcomer to the world of numismatics, this coin is sure to make a statement in any collection. Next up, the 1944 Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel with a lamination error is another prime example of how small mistakes during the minting process can lead to large value in the collector's market. While the 1944 nickel may seem like a fairly standard coin at first glance, its unique error makes it an incredibly rare and highly valued piece in today's market. The 1944 Jefferson nickel was produced during the height of World War II, a time when the U.S. Mint was under significant pressure to produce coins quickly and efficiently. As a result, the production of nickels and other coins sometimes led to irregularities in the minting process. The 1944 nickel had a mintage of approximately 119 million, which makes it relatively common in terms of its general availability. However, errors like the lamination error are exceedingly rare, which gives this particular version of the coin its value. During this period, the U.S. Mint continued to strike coins using a copper-nickel alloy, and they were using die changes that occasionally led to errors. The large date and large P mint mark are hallmarks of this year's issue, and as with the 1942 variant, these features make the 1944 Monticello nickel especially desirable among collectors. The 1944 Monticello nickel carries the classic design first introduced in 1938, featuring the image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The large P mint mark is found just to the right of Jefferson's portrait, indicating that this particular coin was minted in Philadelphia. The design of the Monticello nickel is simple yet elegant. The reverse shows the westward view of Jefferson's Monticello estate, while the obverse has a portrait of Jefferson. The simplicity and clean lines of the design make this coin easy to recognize and admire. The lamination error found in the 1944 Monticello nickel is particularly noteworthy. Lamination errors occur when the layers of metal on the coin do not bond properly during the minting process, leading to the coin showing visible cracks, peels, or separations. In the case of the 1944 Monticello nickel, the lamination error gives the coin a distinctive look that is highly prized among collectors. These errors are typically caused by issues in the coin planchets, metal discs used for coin production, that have impurities or inconsistencies in their composition. When the planchet is struck by the die, the metal does not fully bond, creating a peeling or cracking effect. This error is often visible to the naked eye and can make a coin appear damaged or aged. However, for collectors, this damage is actually what increases the coin's value, as errors like this are relatively rare. In the current market, a 1944 Monticello nickel with a lamination error can fetch anywhere from $93,000 depending on its condition and the severity of the error. More severe examples, particularly those with substantial peeling or cracks, can fetch even higher prices at auction. Some rare coins in near-mint condition, even with the lamination error, have been known to sell for over $100,000. Collectors are particularly drawn to coins with lamination errors because of the unique nature of these mistakes. No two lamination errors are exactly the same, and each one tells its own story about the minting process. This makes coins with these errors highly collectible, especially for error enthusiasts. The 1944 Monticello nickel's lamination error, combined with the large date and large P mint mark, makes it a highly desirable item for collectors. With such a low number of lamination errors surviving in good condition, this coin has a niche following among those who specialize in U.S. Mint errors. In conclusion, the 1944 Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel with the large date, large P mint mark, and lamination error in circulated condition is an incredibly valuable and rare piece of U.S. coinage. Its historical significance, unique error, and collector demand make it one of the most sought-after Jefferson nickels on the market today. Next up, the 1943 Jefferson nickel is one of the key coins in the history of the U.S. Mint. During World War II, the U.S. was facing significant material shortages, including the nickel needed to mint coins. The war effort led to changes in the metal composition of several coins, and the Jefferson nickel was no exception. The 1943 Jefferson nickel which was produced in both Philadelphia and San Francisco, stands out because of its large date design and the larger-than-usual S mint mark. These variations were part of an effort to streamline coin production during the war, with different mints producing distinct variations that would eventually contribute to its rarity and desirability in the numismatic market. In 1943, the United States Mint was under intense pressure to meet the demands of wartime production. Coins like the Jefferson nickel were essential in daily transactions, and even small variations in their production could mark a coin as unique or noteworthy. That's where the large date and large S mint mark come into play. While the overall mintage of the 1943 nickel was high, the large S mint mark variation has become a collector's favorite, especially in dirty condition. The dirt or tarnish that accumulates on these coins over time, while making the coin less visually appealing, also adds a layer of historical character and uniqueness, which collectors find fascinating. The Jefferson nickel design was first introduced in 1938, featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse. Designed by Felix Schlag, this design has remained largely unchanged for over 80 years, except for slight modifications and variations throughout the years. On the reverse side of the 1943 Jefferson nickel, we see Monticello, the plantation home of Thomas Jefferson, symbolizing his legacy. This design is iconic and has been a cornerstone of the nickel series for decades. The 1943 nickel, like other coins of the series, was struck in 75% copper and 25% nickel, although this particular year saw minor changes in composition due to wartime material shortages. The key design feature for the 1943 large S mint mark variety lies on the reverse side of the coin, where a larger-than-normal S mint mark can be seen next to Monticello. This mint mark variation is one of the main reasons why collectors find this coin so intriguing, especially when it is in dirty or circulated condition. The mintage of the 1943 Jefferson nickel was substantial, with roughly 120 million produced at the San Francisco Mint alone. However, only a small fraction of those coins exhibit the large S mint mark, which adds to the rarity of this particular variation. Due to this, even coins in dirty condition are highly sought after by collectors looking to complete their sets. In terms of market value, a 1943 large S Jefferson nickel in dirty circulated condition can command significant prices, especially if it is well preserved despite its tarnish. While typical coins in less than perfect condition might sell for around $38,500, well-circulated examples of this particular variety can fetch upwards of $40,000 at auction, and in more rare instances, these coins can even go for $62,000 or more if they have additional desirable features such as strong strike or clear mint marks. Collectors tend to place significant value on coins like this because of their historical context, rarity, and the fact that they often represent pieces of U.S. history that are no longer in circulation. The presence of the large mint mark and the unique dirty condition add to the mystery and allure, driving up their desirability. One of the key features of the 1943 Jefferson nickel that drives its market value is the potential for errors, specifically with the large S mint mark. While these errors were not widespread, they were still a significant enough anomaly to capture the attention of collectors. Error coins from this era often have substantial value, and the 1943 large S mint mark variety is no exception. The collector interest in this coin, especially those in dirty or tarnished condition, stems from the fact that these coins are rare and tied to a specific moment in American history, the Second World War. Coins from this time period often carry a certain sense of nostalgia and intrigue, making them particularly attractive to both new and experienced collectors. Moreover, this particular variety offers a look into the imperfect nature of wartime production. The different mint marks, the dirty appearance, and the occasional errors speak to the production challenges the U.S. Mint faced during the war, which is something that numismatists value in their quest for historically significant coins. Next up, the 1940 Jefferson nickel is another cornerstone of the Monticello nickel series, but unlike its 1943 counterpart, it was produced in times of peace before the pressures of war began to influence coin production. The 1940 Jefferson nickel, struck in Philadelphia, features the standard no mint mark, which is typical for coins minted at the Philadelphia Mint during that time. At the time, the United States was still in the midst of the Great Depression, and while the nation was recovering, there were still significant economic challenges. The Jefferson nickel was designed to replace the older Liberty Head nickel series and was part of a broader effort to modernize U.S. coinage during the 1930s and 1940s. Struck in 75% copper and 25% nickel, the 1940 Jefferson nickel remains one of the most iconic coins in U.S. numismatics. Over 70 million of these coins were struck, ensuring their availability in the market, but its very fine circulated condition makes this particular coin sought after by collectors. The no mint mark on the 1940 coin is a distinguishing feature. Since Philadelphia did not use a mint mark during this period, all coins produced at this facility feature the standard, unmarked reverse. This is a key aspect of identifying the coin as being produced at the Philadelphia Mint rather than one of the other U.S. mint facilities. The 1940 Jefferson nickel is part of a large mintage run, with approximately 70 million coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Given the high mintage, the 1940 Jefferson nickel is not as rare as some other varieties, but it is still highly valuable, especially in a very fine circulated condition. In today's market, a 1940 Jefferson nickel in very fine circulated condition can be worth between $20,000 depending on its condition and overall appearance. However, coins with particularly strong details and minimal wear can command higher prices. A coin with very fine details but well circulated can fetch around $23,000 depending on the auction market. The value of this coin, much like its 1943 counterpart, is influenced by its historical context and collector interest. The Monticello design and the connection to Thomas Jefferson make this coin a piece of American history, and coins in very fine condition continue to be highly sought after by numismatists. While the 1940 coin is not typically associated with major minting errors, collectors still find interest in the variations of this coin, especially those in very fine circulated condition. The absence of a mint mark is not considered an error, but it is part of the appeal for collectors seeking Philadelphia Mint coins from the 1940s. Furthermore, coins with minor flaws, such as striking errors or planche issues, are also of interest to numismatists looking for unique examples of U.S. mint production. Next up, the 1964 Jefferson nickel, which commemorates Thomas Jefferson's role as a founding father and his association with the Louisiana Purchase, is a coin that holds special significance in American history. It has been part of the U.S. Mint's regular production since 1938, featuring the likeness of Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. The coin has gone through several changes and updates in design over the decades, with the 1964 iteration marking a notable year for the Jefferson nickel series. In 1964, the United States Mint continued to produce the coin as part of the regular coinage production for that year, but there was an issue that would set this particular coin apart from others produced during the same year. A mint error, specifically a demint mark error, started to appear on some coins from that year. This error created a highly coveted version of the 1964 Jefferson nickel, especially with the large date variety and the presence of the demint mark error. In terms of historical context, the 1964 Jefferson nickel is interesting because it was produced during a time of significant changes in U.S. coinage. The U.S. Mint was transitioning to a new era of coin production with a focus on new designs and innovations. This was also the year after President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, a time of national reflection and a shift in how the nation viewed its history and symbols. Coins from this era, particularly those with errors, are seen as valuable relics of an important period in U.S. history. The reverse of the coin showcases Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, which serves as a symbol of his legacy and dedication to the principles of democracy. The reverse design has remained relatively unchanged since it was first introduced in 1938, and it continues to honor Jefferson's role in shaping the nation. The reverse inscription reads, E pluribus unum, which is Latin for out of many, a motto that reflects the unity of the United States. Below Monticello, the word Monticello is inscribed, along with the words 5 cents, indicating the denomination of the coin. The 1964 Jefferson nickel had a total mintage of around 1 billion coins. However, not all of these coins were impacted by the D-mint mark error. The D-error mint mark is a result of a flaw in the die used to strike the coins, which caused the mint mark to be incorrectly applied. This error is relatively rare, and as such, coins bearing this error have become highly valuable among collectors. It's important to note that the majority of the 1964 Jefferson nickels were struck at the Denver Mint, with coins bearing the D mint mark being particularly common. However, due to the D mint mark error, certain examples of the coin have become highly sought after. The error was subtle, but it created a unique and distinct variety that collectors have come to treasure. Only a small percentage of the total mintage of 1964 Jefferson nickels had the error, making them a rare find in the marketplace today. The D-mint mark error on the 1964 Jefferson nickel is one of the primary factors driving collector interest and value. The error occurred when the Denver Mint used a die that was improperly engraved, resulting in a mint mark that is significantly different from the typical D-mint mark found on other coins of that year. This error is not immediately noticeable to the untrained eye, but to seasoned collectors, it's an obvious flaw that can be easily identified. Collectors who specialize in error coins or those who focus on the Jefferson nickel series are particularly interested in this variety. The coin's value increases significantly when it is identified as a D mint mark error, especially if it's in good or fine condition. The 1964 Jefferson nickel with the D error is considered a gem among error coin collectors and is highly prized in auctions. In terms of market value, the 1964 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark error can fetch impressive prices in today's auction market. As of recent auctions, coins in circulated fine condition can range anywhere from $75,000, depending on the severity of the error, the coin's condition, and the demand among collectors. Coins in uncirculated or near-perfect condition have seen even higher values, reaching upwards of $82,500 in some cases. This coin is a prime example of how small errors in minting can drastically affect the value of a coin. While the standard 1964 Jefferson nickel is still a relatively common coin, the error variety stands out and commands a premium price due to its rarity. Thanks for tuning in to Valuable Coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these incredible Jefferson nickels, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'll be back soon with more detailed coin breakdowns. Happy collecting, and we'll see you in the next video.